Hello, welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Koshis.
Sakkadas.
Today we're gonna talk about
An amazing recap of the Austrian Grand Prix.
yeah, of course, as always, but it's not the recap that's gonna be amazing. It's the race that was amazing. The race was amazing as always, even though Piastri. Okay, I have
Where shall we begin?
predictions for our predictions for the Austrian Grand Prix were as follows. Mr. Koshis, what are yours?
I thought that Verstappen was going to get pole and the win.
What did he do,
for the
Mr.
Austrian Grand
Koshis?
Prix? And your predictions were?
My predictions were Verstappen pole, Piastri win. So, I think the most wrong from both of us was Mr. Kostantinos Koshis, where Verstappen ended up in P7 and Antonelli crashed into him, ending his race. How do you feel about that, Mr. Kostantinos?
As he said, mistakes happen.
Mistakes happen. Now, what about the other mistakes? It wasn't mistakes. It was mostly strategical mistakes. Some idiots in the pit lane doing 3.4 second pit stops.
Before we get to that point, there's a lot to cover.
FTs.
First of all, if Verstappen were to race in the Austrian Grand Prix, he had a different GP. He had the.
Oh yeah, he had a different engineer.
He had the sim.
We don't care.
Sim
It's
engineer.
It's not
Something
Jeep.
like that.
He had his sim.
Yes, Max. No.
Max? Max and Max.
I don't remember his name. I want to.
But
First of all, how do you feel about that?
I want to.
We watched the race together. I saw Sakkadas scream at the TV.
Mental breakdown. It is what it was.
Exactly. He was screaming at the TV because Oscar Piastri messed up and couldn't catch up to Lando Norris.
No, he did not mess up.
He messed up.
What? How did he mess up?
He looked up.
Colapindo!
No, Colapindo had nothing to do with that.
Yes, Colapindo had nothing to do
The
with
lockup
it.
before,
Wait.
he
Colapindo had nothing to do with that. They were driving side by side very nicely. He just told him, go on the grass, right? It's been a long time since you touched grass. What do you mean? Okay.
I mean, Piastri locked up.
Okay, he locked up, but he didn't lose any time from the lockup.
Yes.
He lost like 1/10. It wasn't. They were gonna pit that lap, so it wasn't significant.
He pitted the next lap. What's this?
No, he did not. He pitted
he
five laps later, 3, whatever. I mean, he just tried to do a decisive overtake, so they would take him first. He didn't lose any time.
He didn't. He did actually.
He did
In the
lose.
pit.
He lost half a
3
tenth.
seconds.
Wait, before he did.
from
No,
McLaren.
they were in, like he was in DRS range. That was like the straight before turn 3, after turn 2. And it was, I think, 7/10 at the start of the straight. Then he brought it back down to, no, it was 6 at the start, and then he won 4-3, whatever. And then after the lockup, at the fast corners, it was 7/10 difference. So it's not a significant race-altering difference. What made a big race-altering difference was Colapindo just pushing him off. He pushed him off completely though. On new tires, so he kind of messed up his tires as well, his warm-up. So it took him longer to warm up. I will stop. There is nothing I can do now other than go to the Alpine headquarters with a shotgun and Colapindo.
There's actually one thing you can do.
What?
Be happy.
I cannot be happy.
We predicted that the Ferrari upgrades would not work.
No,
But they ended up working with the Ferrari 3-4.
No, we joked about them. I thought they were gonna work.
Destroying Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time world champion again.
How many seconds?
By 7 seconds.
Yes, he absolutely destroyed Lewis Hamilton.
I mean, it's his 12th race with Ferrari.
Yes.
12 races so far.
Yeah.
What position
I mean,
is he
just
in the championship?
wait.
Okay, I think he's in 6th, 7th.
Why am I not connected to your Wi-Fi? Your Wi-Fi is terrible. Terrible Wi-Fi.
Very good.
Terrible Wi-Fi.
Very good.
I have no internet connection,
I got you.
so you got me.
Let's get started. I don't
So
want to
let's
follow-
talk about the Ferrari upgrades. Ferrari brought some performance upgrades, specifically the floor of the car, that, and if I say enhance their performance, am I that stupid? Enhance their performance by a country mile. They ended up third and fourth with Leclerc 7 seconds, more than 7 seconds ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton, I mean, they were on their own, so they were very far away from the McLarens, like 16 seconds or something, but like 30 seconds from Russell in fifth. So they were kind of in a league of their own, but not in a dominance way, not in an Alpine 2023 way. So, yes. What position is he?
Luis is in 6th, in
Okay.
front of Kimi Antonelli.
Where is Leclerc?
5th.
Oh, come on.
Why?
I wanted him to be higher up in the championship.
Okay, Mr. Consistency
Charles Leclerc. Mr. Consistency? Fourth.
is high, is 4th. Third
Who's
is
fifth?
Max.
Oh, fifth is, yeah.
Leclerc. We just said that. You have a
Okay.
goldfish brain.
You know that. You know me for 3-4 years.
3,
4.
4,
4.
4. I know you for 4 years.
Okay, we were not hanging out for 4 years. I was like, hello, my name is George for 4.
So I've known you for 4 years.
Yes.
How many years Max has been dominant in the championship? 4
Okay,
years.
because we have to use family-friendly language. I will talk to him after the podcast. Mr. Koshis, do you like to say anything else?
Okay, getting into the race because we sidetracked just a little bit.
Wee bit.
Kimi Antonelli actually locked up. He was trying to maintain position.
I mean,
as he
it's
said.
tricky in Austria. Like, at turn 2, everyone's ramped up, so you have to brake early, and he tried to dive bomb, so it was kind of a, yeah.
Oh, yes. So, the conclusion was that he couldn't maintain his position after ramming into Max Verstappen, which I don't know why Max stopped. Kimi's tire was...
He destroyed his rear axle.
He did, actually.
Yes. He rammed into his rear
I
wheel.
thought it was his side pod.
No, rear
Not
wheel.
side pod, not
It was
side
a rear, but you could see that his rear wheel was like destroyed.
Could I?
I mean, I think it was like a suspension thing.
Maybe suspension.
I think he
which would be
destroyed his.
hard for him.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, with that much damage, even if you damage the suspension a bit, there's no replacing that.
And what no one is talking about is Max Verstappen, yes, he got off. He was in 4th.
Let's start the
He was in 5th.
conspiracies.
He was in 5th, right?
Yes, yes.
Ahead of Max, no, below of Max, no, I don't know, was Liam Lawson. The
Yes.
Cacao.
No, let's talk about the qualifying results, which were actually amazing. Gabriel P8, Liam in P6, ahead of Max Verstappen in qualifying. We had on pole position Lando Norris, on P2 Charles Leclerc. Unfortunately for Piastri, he was not able to complete his final lap due to the yellow flag.
He was still 3rd.
He was third. I mean, the gap with Lando and Leclerc was incredible. 5/10.
Yes.
And the
because
McLaren's on a
rocket
league of
ship.
its own. We could speculate all day what would happen if Piastri had his final run, but I think, honestly, after watching Lando's lap, I don't know if there's much that he could have done. Lando's lap was actually incredible.
Rocket ship.
So yes, then in P4 we had Lewis Hamilton, P5 we had George Russell, then in P6 Liam Lawson, in P7 Max Verstappen.
P8 was...
He would have gotten pole.
wait, P8 was...
P8 was Gabriel Bortoleto.
Bortoleto, which
and
a kick sour in the top 10.
yeah, double points for
Qualifying
Sauber
P3.
in the race.
Double points.
For Sauber.
Yes.
I don't understand how Gabriel got
P8.
driver of the day.
No, I understand it.
No, Hülkenberg went from
Gabriel Bortoleto.
P20
Hülkenberg is
to
50 years in F1. Bortoleto is his first year, 12 races in a kick sour P8.
Okay.
Maintaining that position.
Okay. Then who was ninth? Gasly.
Ninth was yes, Gasly. Isaac Hajar, unable to
Unable to
continue in
make
Q3.
not even able to get out of Q1.
Q1 yes, as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting qualifying that neither of us watched.
I skipped it
I
by
was-
accident.
Oh, yes, I was sleeping too. Anyway, let's talk about the race. What happened in the first, 20, 30 laps? What happened in the first stint of the race, Mr.
The
Koshis?
first stint of the race was Lando and Oscar.
It was the best.
fighting
It was
for
the best stint.
pole for the P1,
Yeah,
which was actually an aggressive fight.
yeah.
Great fight to watch. And there was because we forgot about him.
Who?
Carlos Sainz.
Oh my God. If he had a nickel for every time he blew up in Austria, he'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? Yeah, he blew up in 2022.
For him and Albon.
Yeah, and Albon as well. I don't know what happened with the Williams
This race, maybe they forgot to change their engines.
I mean, they both blew up. They blew up last race as well.
It's the engine.
What?
So the engine is the problem.
But it's a Mercedes engine.
So
I mean, Mercedes, okay.
you said it
Antonelli
yourself in the previous podcast.
Antonelli blew up, but what happened to McLaren? McLaren has never had an engine problem.
It is because McLaren have a rocket ship which maintain with water tire water.
Tire water. As
to
Christian
keep
Horner, yes, they have tire water. Look at the bed. Look at the Mac. Anything
yes,
else?
The fight was epic.
The fight was epic.
It
I mean,
was.
Oscar just trying to.
The switchbacks, everything.
Yeah, it was great. In the second stint, the hard stint for most, great battles in the midfield mostly.
Yes, in the midfield.
The midfield was packed with fighting, and not just fighting for just people overtaking. Actually, people defending well. Who was it? Was it Berman with
It was
Berman and Colapindo?
okay. There were many fights. There was Berman,
There were-
Colabindo, and Ocon.
Yeah,
It was Gasly. No, Gasly had his. What did he have?
he had the soft tires, so they were kind of
No,
overcooked.
he had a problem with his.
Did he have damage at the end?
Yes,
I don't.
something,
I don't
I
think
don't
they
remember.
said anything about damage.
Something with the system checking. I don't know. That's why he dropped.
No, he was complaining about something, but I think they were not. I think they didn't find any damage. I don't know. Maybe I missed it. Did I?
Yes.
Okay.
It was Bortoleto fighting with Alonso in the last laps,
Yes. Great fighting.
which was great. The
No,
wish come true
was
for
it-
It was, yes.
Wasn't it Gabriel Portoleto?
Yes, that's what I said.
No, you said Colapindo.
Bortoleto fighting with
You
Alonso.
said Colapindo.
I didn't. I will play the clip back. Bortoleto fighting with Alonso in the last laps. Bortoleto fighting with Alonso in the last laps. Bortoleto.
Jew, deaf.
I know I said Bortoleto.
Okay. Portoleto fighting with his manager.
Yeah, which is weird.
Weird. Yeah. I mean, it's weird fighting with the guy that brought you into F1, kind of, that trained you.
It is, but you have to fight your coach in
Yes.
order to see if you're wealthy enough.
And
worthy
he
enough.
was better than his coach. No, was he?
No, they were actually close.
I mean, who?
I don't think Alonso was trying to fight aggressively, neither Bortoleto,
Yeah.
because they're in the midfield. They scored points.
No, I mean, they weren't fighting aggressively because it's.
First of all, you're fighting your manager.
What?
First of all, you're fighting your manager.
Yes, and his manager is fighting the trainee.
Yes.
Hajar,
Second of all, it's a kicks out.
where did Hajar end up?
Hajar,
Forgot about Hajar.
where did he? I think he ended up out of the points
Yeah, I think so too.
because it was Piastri. No, Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, Hamilton. P5 was George, Liam. Wait, was he in the top 5?
No, he was six.
Top 10.
I don't know.
I
Anyway.
think he was. He could be because there were 6 people after.
You can make me Google it, aren't you?
Google it. While you Google it, I'll go back
Not
to the race, which is-
fragmentic. F1. Not F1 bearings. F1.
He's been trying to build the car.
Oh my god, it's gone to F1 bearings. I don't want bearings. I bought bearings. They made me broke. I have a very terrible internet connection. So can you please Google the results because we're gonna stay here all day?
Oh.
Okay. Anything else about the race?
He in fact ended 12th.
Liam or Hajar?
Hajar.
Liam?
6th, as I said.
6th.
7th was Alonso.
Liam actually
Bortoleto.
an interesting what?
Wait, what?
What?
Piastri, Leclerc, Hamilton, Russell, Lawson, Alonso, Bortoleto, Hülkenberg, Ocon. Ocon was in the top 10.
Ocon.
Did Ocon overtake Berman?
What was I gonna say? An interesting statistic about how terrible the second seat of the Red Bull is. Liam Lawson scored more points in Austria than the second seat.
Yes,
In-
but they brought upgrades. Which
They brought
Tsunoda-
upgrades. Idiot. Idiota.
Don't care.
He-
They brought
yeah.
upgrades which could have impacted Tsunoda's race because I didn't see him. He was 16th, dead last.
Yeah.
Dead last. Maybe they were collecting data. Max Verstappen was in the how is it called again? The pit? Oh, not the pit box.
Lane?
In the pit lane, collecting data for the new car to see
What?
whether because they actually put softs. They
Yeah.
actually put softs and they tried to. I think they tried to collect data of how the car is.
And the result is it is terrible as always. It has no redeeming qualities except if Max Verstappen is driving it. And Yuki Tsunoda is doomed to fail. And they owe Sergio Perez an apology.
They actually did apologize to them.
I know, they apologize.
Online.
They publicly, how pathetic do you have to be to throw a driver out of the seat, even though he was telling you for 2 years that the car is terrible. But the other driver, no, this happened before. In 2020,
Oh, you have.
Speak to my drivers.
no, in 2020, the car was terrible. And the reason it was terrible is because the other drivers, Albon, Gasly, the other drivers that passed through the seat, they were like, this is terrible, this is terrible, this is terrible, it's undrivable. But because Max Verstappen is Max Verstappen, they overlooked the issues of the car. And in 2020, they had problems with the car because even Max Verstappen could not drive it anymore. So, if this has happened before, and you know that Max, you have a driver that's so good he messes up your data because he's that good, why would you not give attention to your second driver when he tells you the car is unstable, it's undrivable?
Because you believe that the first driver is still. Because the first driver was winning still. So.
Yes,
they-
but why would
they
you not
didn't have
add
to
the...
change anything.
Yes, but in 2024 they had problems even with Max Verstappen.
He
So
still won.
okay, he won, but because of the dominant performances in the start of the year, why would you not listen
Yes,
to...
and because Lando Norris
And
was
this-
unable to fight even with a
Okay,
rocket ship.
he's an idiot.
Unable with a fight with a rocket
he-
ship.
Uh,
Don't speak English. What's this?
so this year... Okay, let's fast track this. What are your predictions for the...
My predictions are because I never saw, we never saw what could happen if Max has an advantage with the new upgrades. I think that Max could be in the top 5.
At least, yes. Max Verstappen is always in the top 5.
Yes.
It's a consistency.
Because if he doesn't get in the top 5, I think if Russell outdoes him, he will.
No, it was in...
Yes, if Russell
Off-
outdoes him, he will be 4th in the championship.
Okay, but the...
So what are the actual? Because I never read them. I
think
don't know
it's...
if you know.
I think it's if he's below 3rd by Austria.
You, my friend, is very much wrong.
I don't know.
Will
We'll find out. Anyway,
find out.
so your predictions are Verstappen pole?
no, actually, I believe Piastri will get pole. Very close to Norris, and with 0.3 of a second Leclerc. It's a good call.
And the win?
And the win will be Oscar.
Delusion, Max Verstappen.
Delulu is always the Solulu.
What? Okay. So who's gonna get
I
the
believe
win?
that Oscar Piastri could very easily win,
So pole and win.
and I want to put a bet.
Okay. State your terms.
If
Wait, should I say my predictions first?
yes, What
Okay.
say your predictions
My
first?
predictions are Lando Norris, pole position, Oscar Piastri, P2, and Oscar Piastri will get him on the start and he will win the race. That's it. So it's Lando, pole, Norris, Lando pole, Norris win. Lando, it's Norris pole and Oscar Piastri win.
If
State your terms, Mr. Kostantinos.
if Oscar Piastri manages to beat Norris
Yes.
by, I will say, plus minus 1/10 of a second, 1.5 seconds,
1.5?
1.5.
Okay.
So if he
1.6 or 1.4 is
if
okay,
he
yeah?
gets first place by 1.1 or 1.5 or 1,
1.5, 1.4, 1.6?
yes,
Yeah.
you will wear Red Bull merch
On the next podcast?
for the next
Okay,
podcast.
I have a Vettel shirt. Okay, my dad has a Vettel. It's gonna be a bit oversized. It's gonna be up to here, but it's okay. And if
If
you're
I
wrong,
lose-
you will wear
McLaren merch.
McLaren merch. So you're gonna have to buy merch from.
Yes,
Silly.
actually, I have to spend money. You don't.
No, I will go and buy from Sports Direct. They have like cups, Red Bull cups. So I'm gonna wear the shirt and the Red Bull cup. So we're
Beneficial.
fine.